Lightworkers, Lisa here. Welcome to Light Guided. I hope these messages find you well. I'm just popping in to do a mid-month kind of booster on the readings. Lots of energy, lots of things kind of I wanted to say shifting and stagnating at the same time, right? It's like energy is moving super fast and super slow all at the same time. It's crazy. So I just wanted to offer a little booster of support, hopefully some messages of hope here for you. And I'm going to start with my new deck, my John Holland deck. These are gorgeous. They're called Spirit Messages, Daily Guidance by John Holland. So I'm excited to open the reading with that today. And before I even get started, I'm just going to say a little blessing here to bring in some new energy, and gosh, particularly for December, right? It's like coming to the end of the year, and how amazing that we've made it through this crazy year of like mostly isolation and elections and viruses and riots and like all kinds of crazy stuff, right? And yet there's this incredible transformation happening for so many people, and the collective energy is just delighted in our change and in the things that are happening here on the planet in terms of the shift of energy, right? And you'll get to know my belief system that I feel the universe is basically neutral, and us as humans bring a lot of meaning into it. So I don't think that spirit has a feeling one way or another specifically about things, but that there are different resonances of energy, different vibrations that happen, right? So let's talk a little bit about that. So Spirit just has some opening messages for you. For the weeks ahead. Oh, beautiful. So beginning with this beautiful energy, look at this card. It's so fantastic. The artwork is just amazing on these. It reminds me of a Magritte painting for those who went to art school, right? Okay, so this is talking about soul solitude. Your soul needs attention. There are moments when it's important to get away, not just from the noise of the outside world, but to find a place where your soul can experience peace and quiet, a place for soul solitude. This is a time to pause, a time to reflect, and a time just for you. Beautiful, beautiful energies. We also have this beautiful card, this beautiful energy of support. People come into your life for many different reasons. Some you learn from and then they move on, while others return often because you need to learn more from those individuals. Others remain beside you throughout your entire life. So that's really speaking to support in our community circles, right? In our 3D world, support with the people that are around us in our lives. But I think, it also speaks to a spiritual support, knowing and acknowledging and recognizing the divine support that's available to all of us. And we have this beautiful energy of forgiveness. Holding on to resentment and anger is preventing or even suffocating your spiritual growth. Resentment is one of the strongest and most damaging of human emotions. The act of forgiveness in its own right is equally incredibly powerful, and it has the capacity to heal and transform. I think the energy of forgiveness it's such a beautiful energy, and there's always layers of that, right? We talk about forgiveness, forgiveness is really for ourselves more than for the other person. And there's some truth in that, right? When we are able to step into that space of forgiveness, we relieve ourselves of the burden of holding pain around a person or a situation. But there's also the energy when we are able to move into that, we're also creating, it's like a reverberation, there's a resonance. And when we move forward in the energy of forgiveness and we're able to release the pain of a situation, we're bringing a higher level of consciousness into vibration. through that sense of forgiveness as well. So for some of you, you may be working on that in the next couple of weeks. You know, there may be some areas of forgiveness. And gosh, I mean, even at the global level, you know, thinking about all the turmoil that's been, you know, coming up. And, you know, I use the pond analogy a lot, where it's like we have a still pond, we throw a rock into it, all the sediment comes up from the bottom. It doesn't make the pond bad or ugly. It just says that there's a lot of stuff at the bottom that's coming up to be revealed. And that's been like this last year, you know, the lockdowns and the election. It's brought out a lot of things in people that we love that maybe we didn't expect, and things that have just rubbed us the wrong way. And, you know, there may be opportunities now as some of that is shifting again from being very, very intense to kind of this rhythm of some sense of normalcy around those situations. We can shift our focus again from, you know, being in an energy of combativeness or opposition to coming more into the energy of unity. And ultimately, that is kind of the overarching message, and certainly the message that I hold very dear, which is one of unity, you know, moving toward a collective consciousness of unity. And I think all of these cards support that. All of these messages support that, you know, finding that place within to find our inner peace and our inner well-being, knowing that we're supported in our lives and in our spiritual being, and, you know, being able to open into that energy of forgiveness. So quite a lovely way to start the reading. And I'm going to go ahead and pull some oracles here. This will be mostly an oracle reading. I'll do a little bit of channeling to see what other messages Spirit might have for all of us light workers in this time, about mid-December. Whoa. Spirit was being very forceful and saying, oh my gosh, how interesting. Spirit is being very forceful in this message. And I'm noting these two particular cards coming out together forcefully because I just did a reading and these two exact same cards came out. So that's kind of interesting to me. Let me take a moment to tune into the energy that's coming forward for this reading with these cards. Yeah. Interesting. That's so fascinating. It always kind of blows me away when Spirit communicates through the cards this way. It's a very similar message as I shared with another person around these two energies as they came forward. So here's what came forward. On the planet, in our physical bodies, in our physical beings, we are moving through layers of healing. We're moving through layers of healing, again, physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. And in, you know, for the most part, that can look like psychological healing. It could look like healing relationships. It could look like, you know, setting boundaries, making different choices. But there's also this higher level of healing that's happening. And it's a lot of what I talk about in what I talk about collective unconscious and let me slow down so I can actually articulate and speak. When I speak about the collective energy and the collective consciousness, I'm speaking about the multi-dimensions in which our souls live, right? So we live in our soul. Our soul is not contained within our physical being. Soul is multidimensional. And so at any level within those dimensions, there is healing that's happening, this master healing. It is both supporting our physical healing, meaning our healing in the physical world, whether that's emotional, physical, or, you know, however that manifests for us in our particular body or expression. So that spiritual healing can, you know, work from the highest realm into the physical realm. And the opposite is also true. As we raise our consciousness, as we consciously choose our healing, and we choose to grow and we choose to evolve, we are also evolving that higher level energy in our soul on multidimensionally. Wow, I can speak today, I swear. So the message here, the overall message here is really, as always, this just beautiful message of support and healing to say, no matter what we've been through here on the planet, and no matter how difficult it's been, that at the soul level, we are all evolving, and we are helping the universe to evolve as well. And we're helping to grow the universe in this higher vibration. And that's a message that they want you to know and remember today. And what else, Spirit, would you like me to pull here? Okay. So I'm going to pull some affirmations. Oh my goodness. We'll do some affirmations and some healing energy, and see what other messages want to come through here. Yeah. Interesting that we have forgiveness has come out again. So this energy says, I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. So it's very similar to what I was saying before, that, you know, when we're holding on to resentments or non-forgiveness, it's hard to be in both places with that. And that's not a judgment, by the way. You know, I think sometimes, and I can say that in my own journey, sometimes I have felt like, well, geez, I'm a spiritual person and I have this recognition and this awareness of these higher energies, and I kind of know what my, you know, my quote unquote purpose is, and I understand my connection to spirit, and yet I'm not always in a vibration of love. I'm sometimes stuck in this energy of resentment. And what has happened, what has changed over time, is that I'm more able to recognize it now. I recognize it more quickly when I'm holding on to non-forgiveness. And I recognize that that energy of love is not flowing through. So I would say, like, it's not a judgment, right? We're all just human beings, and we're doing our best to be in an energy of love and be in an energy of kindness and forgiveness. And you know, the work is not to be perfect, but the work is to be aware and to do the best that we can in our human form, and to tap into this spiritual support that we have, right? I mean, like, it's all there. It's all there. It's not on us alone to figure out and to do alone. But I think this is an important piece as a reminder, like, you know, we can't both be in love and be in resentment at the same time. It's like, you're either in an open energy of love or you're not. And it's an important reminder, because we do get to choose. We are in a consciousness of choice, and we do get to choose now the energy that we embody, the energy that we exist in. Okay. We also have the energy of judgment. I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. So where at this time are you maybe in an energy of judgment, and what choices can you make moving forward that would release some of that? And, you know, very similar, like, to forgiveness energy, right? It's like and I'll speak for myself, when I'm in an energy of judgment, I am not in an energy of love. And it affects me, right? It doesn't affect other people or other situations necessarily, but it affects me. And when I'm in that vibration, then I am not holding the highest good for the consciousness or for the planet when I'm in that space. And again, I'll keep saying it. There's no judgment in the judgment, right? We're just human. But I think these messages come forward really as reminders, not as criticisms, but as reminders to say, like, hey, we are at choice, and we get to decide, you know, how we want to move forward in the world. And where we notice that we're in judgment, we can now be aware of that and recognize, hey, I can make a different choice. I can move from judgment into something else. Okay. And then we have the energy of loneliness. I know that I'm never alone. So some of you may be dealing with some feelings of loneliness right now, understandably. You know, we may be feeling separated from our earth families. We may be feeling separated from our spiritual families, especially in this time of the holiday. And, you know, again, being in this situation for a year, about a year here in the United States, you know, there's a lot of stuff coming up and around all of that. I'm going to pull some more detailed energy here on loneliness. Let's see what more, whoa, what more we need to learn and know about that. Oh, wow. Lots of messages here. So in general, right? In general, Spirit wants you to know that you're strong. I mean, for one, you're strong. And there is a strength that we get to build in this space of loneliness, where we might feel separate, where we might experience a feeling of separateness. We are cultivating a strength. And they're telling me here, like, this is not a strength about armor, right? This is not about armoring ourselves against the feeling of loneliness, but it is very much about recognizing the power that we have within, even in this energy. And so how do we leverage that? How do we leverage that power? I'm laughing because that sounds like something I would say like in my work world. How do I leverage that? No, this is about not leveraging, but this is about embodying this strength, right? It's about breathing in that loneliness and embodying it, not letting it take us down, not going down the rabbit hole, not overthinking what it feels like, but just recognizing it as a pure energy and letting that pure energy be a strength, be one of our strengths. Hey, I'm not afraid to be alone. I've been alone. I've been, you know, on my own since February of this year. It's been almost a year, you know, and I'm okay with that. I'm in strength around that. That loneliness, that piece of myself that I'm now getting to learn and recognize through this soul solitude also, right, is bringing forward this greater strength. It's bringing forward this greater wisdom, and that's pretty darn cool. And check it out. I mean, further affirmation of that, right? In the aloneness, in the solitude of our soul is where we come to unfold, where there's no distractions, where there's no judgment except for what's coming from ourselves, right? And we're in choice around that. So there's this beautiful unfoldment that's happening in that energy of what is noted here as loneliness. And then finally, we have karma DNA. And this makes me laugh a little bit, not in any way to be mean. It just gives me a sense of laughter because, you know, for some of us, you know, maybe being alone is kind of feels karmic, you know, it's like, or we're experiencing some change and growth at the karmic level, like in that, the deepest part of our being. You know, I'm going to say this very, very generally, but I think there's a sense anyway, at least in our culture, being alone is like, you know, culturally, it's not what you strive to do, right? Culturally, we strive to be in partnership, we strive to be in family, whether we do or not is another thing, but culturally, that's sort of what's supported. So, it could be real challenging for some of us to move into a sense of separation from those things, right? But it may be for some of us that it's part of our deeper learning, part of our karmic learning. I said this would be a short reading. Let's see what's being called forward for healing. Oh, yeah. I love it. Oh, my goodness. Okay, too many cards. Try one more here. Wow. Boy, there's a lot going on for all of y'all because I literally just got like 8 cards came out. And I'm gonna keep these actually, because there's a lot of cards here, but I think it really applies because there's so much going on for so many people, you know. So we have the energy of emotional healing. That's the awakening crystal. That can be like a topaz or citron type of thing. We have dioptase, heart healing, acceptance, rhodochrosite, cycles, moonstone, flexibility, Brazilianite, and we're not done yet. Diopside, Mother Earth, spirit quartz, music, and finally we have black obsidian, the shadow. So I'm pulling this back to this card of soul, solitude, and loneliness. That energy of like being insulated in your world somehow. And these are all of the different things that people are experiencing right now. You know, the shadow may be coming up. Your shadow may be coming up a lot. There may be a need for flexibility around some of the healing that's going on. Deep emotional healing happening, deep heart healing happening, having to, you know, moving into this energy of acceptance around some of these pieces. The completion of cycles for a lot of you. Spirit quartz, music, diopside, Mother Earth, you know, connecting, recognizing that the Mother Earth is also going through healing. And music, there's a lot of different ways that this card comes forward for me, but the way it's resonating in this reading is really around frequency. So a lot of you may be experiencing ascension symptoms where you are at the deepest cellular level. You're starting to go through some changes. So there's a frequency elevation. And they're also saying like music is healing in itself, right? Listening to music. If you're somebody who loves music and that resonates with you, this could be a good time for that. All right, I'm going to pull soul messages and then a heart and soul message, and that will wrap up our brief touch point for December. Aw, name all the things you love, and I already know what it says on the other side. Are you one of them? I give myself all the love and attention I need. So, you know, overall, there's such a nourishing energy to this whole reading. This whole reading has been, you know, about self-healing, self-love, nourishing the self as you're going through these changes, these spiritual shifts, and knowing that you're fully supported by Spirit in every way. Okay, one more here. All right, we have two that wanted to come out. Beautiful. I love these cards. I feel like there's a message in this work here, this artwork here. For some of you, this is, we talked about the shadow. So there's a little bit of that sense in earth healing and master healing, same energy here, which is there's a sense of like good and bad, dark and light, you know, good and evil, like, you know, that kind of dichotomy. But what they're saying is there's no separation, right? And part of coming into unity with ourselves, with divine spirit, with each other, is recognizing that in the realm of spirit, there is no such thing as good and bad. There is no such thing as, you know, evil, really, right? And that's not to say people don't do terrible, awful things. It happens. People do terrible, awful things. People also do really incredible, amazing things. But from an energetic or spiritual perspective, energy is just energy, and it's about frequency, right? And so there's just an additional reminder here about beginning to recognize and see that there is no good and bad energy. It is all just energy, and we are at choice. We are at choice in not only how we perceive things, but how we want to resonate with the energy at hand. And that is very much about choosing. We have the opportunity to choose the energy that we're in, to choose the frequency that we're in, based on what we need at a soul level, based on our particular growth. Okay? So I'm going to read these now. The first card here is, beyond the light of this world, there is an inner light that always shines bright. Close your eyes and be guided by your inner light. Feel it flow through your entire body, your thoughts and emotions. Feel it relax and heal every part of you. Listen to the immortal dialogue between your soul and spirit. This is the never-ending story of you. Oh, beautimous. And then we have this energy here. An angel surrounds you with rainbow wings, here to reconnect you with your true nature, a balanced, healthy, sensitive, and loving you. Remember, there is more to life than your achievements. Consciously connecting your spiritual and physical realities will help you reconnect to the sacred, infinite, and creative part of yourself that is yearning to play a greater role in your life. These cards always amaze me. They just sort of sum up the whole reading. That's exactly what this energy is talking about. I don't think I can pull these out without messing up the whole thing here. Nope. These two energies right here, right? Consciously connecting your spiritual and physical realities will help you reconnect to the sacred, infinite, and creative part of yourself. Yes. All right, my loves, thank you so much. Until we meet again, I'm wishing you a wonderful season of light in this month of December into January, and I'll see you again. Thank you so much. Be well.